Hey guys, it's Matt from TDM Style here, and we are finally ready to review Chapter Hair Cream by Jordan O'Brien and Carlos Roberto. So if you've been following this product, you'll know that it has been in the works for a very long time, and as Mike over at Modern Man TV pointed out, it was like over a year between pre-orders and release, but now it's available and shipping, so let's crack it open and see what it's all about. So they're calling Chapter a styling cream with a pliable, natural hold and a matte finish. So taking a look at the packaging, you can see that it comes in this 2.5 ounce or 71 gram black plastic jar. On the top of the lid, we have the Chapter logo there. And then around the sides, we have Chapter Hair Cream, followed by the ingredients and then the directions. So at first glance, packaging is okay. I quite like the minimalism of the logo and the fonts that they've chosen. I think the plastic feels a bit cheap. I mean, it's very much akin to like the plastic jars that you get Blue Mon products in, which is fine. I just tend to like something a little bit more like a glass jar, maybe aluminum or something, but it's just a package. I am a little bit curious as to why they changed to an all-black packaging design instead of the all-white one that is actually pictured on the website and like the one that Jordan and Carlos had showcased with earlier revisions and things. I actually quite like the all-white one, but it is what it is, and you know, what matters is the product, not the packaging anyway. So let's open it and see what it's like inside. Now the scent on this I actually really like. I get like cedar and sandalwood up front with some kind of warm spices in there and a little bit of like an orangey citrus in there too. So it's a nice scent, I think. It's quite masculine, but it's not too overpowering or too cologne-y smelling. So, I mean, for me, the scent, they knocked it out of the park. So let's take a quick look at the ingredients list to see what's actually in this jar. So we'll see that it is a water-based product with deionized water in the first slot. Then we've got soybean oil, kaolin clay, and bentonite clay, lanolin wax, and hydrogenated jojoba oil, as well as some other goodies. Now, knowing that this has both kaolin and bentonite clay in it, as well as a little bit of wax, I personally would consider this to be more of a cream clay type of hybrid product, as opposed to a more traditional hair cream that you might find from other product lines. So with that in mind, that'll take us right into texture and application. Opening up the jar, we're met with that familiar tan, grayish kind of color that we see in a lot of clay products. And it scoops out of the jar very soft, and as the name implies, it does break down very creamy in the hands. Although as I start to emulsify it in my hands, it definitely feels like a clay in that I feel quite a lot of grippiness in my hands right up front. And when I first start applying that into dry hair, it actually feels like it's going to be like a high hold product. Now it does apply to the hair fairly smoothly, although I've noticed for my hair type, it does have a little bit of tug and pull at the ends. At the ends of my strands, it feels a little bit tangly, which I'm starting to think might have something to do with jojoba seed oil, because I've noticed that I have a similar outcome when I use other products that contain jojoba oil. Kind of like I had with the Carter Fortify clay, except that was like way more extreme tangliness than I experienced with Chapter. Now, although it does feel like it's going to be high hold up front, after just a couple of minutes of working with it, and especially if you've let it sit for about 5 minutes or so, it definitely relaxes and then becomes a more, I would say, light to medium hold, as you can see with this hairstyle that I have here. And that brings us right into performance. So when I style this into dry hair, I really like the texture that it gives me. I think it has the look of a clay type product, but without the heaviness of it. It definitely does stay pliable, so it is quite simple to kind of mess up your hair or change your style throughout the day. And I've noticed that tangly feeling that I have at the ends of my hair strands tends to kind of wear off as the day goes by. So into the evening, my hair ends up feeling pretty soft and fairly moisturized, which is interesting. Now, in terms of the finish, that actually surprised me a little bit, because this being called a styling cream, I definitely expected it to be a little bit more of a wet type product and have a little bit more of a shine finish. But this ends up feeling quite dry and quite matte. Now, I don't mean dry in that my hair feels dry, because it doesn't, but it really adds zero shine at all. I mean, what you see here, which is obviously amplified by my lights, this is essentially what my hair looks like when I have no product in it. Now, I've tried using this as a pre-styler as well, and I've found that for me, applying it into damp hair and then blow drying, I end up with a little bit better result. simply because it goes into damp hair very smoothly, and as I'm blow drying it into place, I don't run into as much of that tangling issue at the ends of my strands, and once it's totally dry, it ends up having essentially the same texture and finish that it has if I've styled it into dry hair. Now, as far as the hold goes, they're calling this a natural hold product, which it's kind of accurate, but I also think it's kind of an odd choice of words, just because when I think of natural hair, I think of hair that has no product in it and therefore no hold. Which is obviously not the case here. This is, I would consider it to be like a light to medium hold product. I mean, the more you use, the more it leans toward that medium end of the spectrum. Now, as far as washing this out of my hair, it is a water-based product, so it does come out fairly easily, although for me, it doesn't seem to come totally out with just water. I did still need a shampoo to get it totally out of my hair. All right, now moving on to price, and this product comes in at $20 US for that 2.5 ounce jar, and if you're inside the US, you're also going to pay a $6 flat rate shipping fee. Now, they do ship worldwide, although they didn't list the international shipping costs in their FAQ, so I'm not exactly sure what you might be paying for international shipping. So if anybody has that information, feel free to post it in the comments down below. Alright, so my overall thoughts on CHAPTR Hair Cream. I think it's a pretty decent product. It's not anything that like totally blows me away or anything. For me, it definitely has some pros and cons. So on the pro side, I really like the scent. I think it smells fantastic. I like how light and creamy the product is when you're scooping it out and breaking it down in the hands. And I like the texture and the finish that it gives my hair. And I like the way that my hair feels at like the end of the day after I've had it in for a while. On the con side, I don't like the tangliness that it gives the ends of my hair strands when I'm applying it, especially to dry hair. Also for cons, I mean, I'm not a massive fan of the lighter hold, but that's just me. I just prefer a heavier holding product, generally speaking. But other than that, I think it's a fine product, and I like this as a pre-styler more than I do a post-styler for myself, if I'm honest. Now, there was one thing about this that I was a little bit salty about after I ordered it. So when this first came out, I watched Mike Smith's review of it, and as I was reading through the comments and things, I noticed people were asking whether or not it was readily shipping yet, or if only pre-orders were going out. And I saw Jordan commented and said, pre-orders are out and this is ready, and so if you order it, it's gonna ship. So I thought, okay, great, perfect time for me to buy mine. So I went to the website, ordered it, got the order confirmation, and then like a week or a week and a half went by and I still hadn't gotten a shipping notification yet. So I filled out their support form on the website and I just said, you know, your FAQ says it's still in production, but I had read that Jordan said it was shipping, so I just wanted to know what's happening. Like, when is it shipping? Is it going to be now? Is it going to be later? And I never heard anything back. So after a few days of not hearing anything, I filled out the form again, and I just said, hey, I just want to know what's happening, because I don't really care if it's shipping now or in 4 months. I just want to know so that I have an idea of what to expect. And I still never heard anything. So a couple more days went by and I ended up commenting on one of their pictures on Instagram because they were like, hey, buy your CHAPTR hair cream. And I said, is it shipping or what's happening? And then eventually Carlos replied and said, yeah, it shipped out today. And then the day after that, I got an email shipping notification. So I was just a little bit salty that like I never heard anything back from their support team. And now normally I am not a whiny customer. I'm very like laid back, but I just want to know what's happening. If I order something, just tell me when it's going to ship. Whether it's going to ship tomorrow and I'll get it in 2 days, or whether you say, oh, we're still producing it and it's going to be a couple of months, that's fine. But just like get back to me and let me know what's happening. But with that being said, I do think it's a fine product. I think Jordan and Carlos did a nice job making something that has good ingredients in it. And I think if you're a guy in the market for a lighter hold product with a dry matte finish, it's definitely worth a try. So that wraps things up for this review. I hope that you guys liked it and found it informative. I've got lots more product reviews and things coming down the line, including a first look video at a number of products from the Salon Guy's new boutique line coming up. So if you haven't yet subscribed, please do so to keep up with all that upcoming stuff. And as always, thanks so much for coming by and watching, and we'll see you at the next one.